Here's another wild story from a time I thought it was game over in Bangkok, Thailand. G'day guys, Daniel Thomas here. Thank you for tuning in. I am a bloke who's taken a lot of left turns in life. I call it the road less travelled. I offer personal reflections and stories from the things I've learnt along the way. I also have a unique perspective as an Australian living in Germany. This particular story takes us back to Bangkok, Thailand in 2009. I had just spent a month in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam where things had gotten a little bit wild. I had basically gone to Vietnam to try and get clarity on a life decision, whether I was going to stay in London or return to Australia where I was from. There wasn't much in London for me at that time. The band I'd gone there with had broken up. It was the global financial crisis, so there wasn't any work. But I wasn't quite ready to return to Australia, so I was kind of in limbo land. And my hope was that I could go to Vietnam, sit under a palm tree and get some clarity about this big life decision. But I ended up getting embroiled in the kind of expat party community over there and spent most nights in the bars escaping difficult decisions and things I hadn't dealt with from my past. I even ended up DJing in a bar one night. I'm not a DJ. It was literally $1.80 for a double Jack Daniels and Coke. And it all got a little bit out of control. So by the time I got to Bangkok, I was very much ready to fly out. I must say, though, just on Vietnam was such a beautiful culture and country. I would like to go back sometime when I'm in a better state of mind. But the one thing I remember from Vietnam is all the crazy stuff people carry on motorbikes. The first thing I saw was a giant pig on the back of a bike ready to be roasted. It didn't have the apple in the mouth, but it was a huge pig. The second thing I saw was a palm tree, literally a whole palm tree, probably the one I wanted to sit under. A giant tree on the back. The third thing was an entire family of 5. The fourth thing was a pet shop with bags of water and goldfish hanging off the back. And the final thing that absolutely took the cake was my buddy and I were in a taxi on the freeway and a motorbike flew past with a fridge on the back. Now, we were just laughing at the fridge, but on the back of the fridge was the daughter of the driver holding on to the fridge. He'd clearly said to her, "Fridge takes priority, you just hold on for dear life." Very resourceful with what they put on the motorbikes over there. But bringing it back to Thailand, I just wanted to get to the airport, fly out and get back to London and watch my box set of Entourage, the DVDs that I'd bought at a market in Ho Chi Minh. So I'm on the freeway, going to the airport. What I didn't realize was there was a political uprising going on at the time. And there were some pretty heavy protesters who were about to kind of overthrow the government or something. I'm not sure the exact political situation. I'm in the taxi, hungover, haven't slept in a month, and this truck pulls up with like 10 guys in the back with massive guns. And I'm like, this is not what I need right now. Anyway, they fly past. I get to the airport. I check in and I just sort of sit on one of those lonely benches in the airport with all the chaos going on around me. Bangkok's quite a big airport from memory. And I'm just relieved to be getting out of Asia. Like, it's just time to get out. And all of a sudden, over the entire airport PA comes an announcement calling me back to the counter. I'm like nodding off. And I spring awake as I hear my name called over the entire airport. As I'm walking back to the counter, to the left, I see an open door with 2 military guys in there with guns and my bag. At that point, I thought, this is it. is game over. This is how it ends. I remembered that film I'd seen as a kid, Bangkok Hilton, where Nicole Kidman ends up in a Thai prison because somebody planted drugs in her bag. I convinced myself that that had happened to me. I'm like, why didn't I protect my bag, like wrap it in plastic? And I'm thinking this is how it ends. Like, I'm like 28 years old and I'm thinking this is game over. I go to the woman at the counter. She sends me to the guys in the room and I sort of coyishly enter the room. These two guys are like, is this your bag? And I'm like, yep. One of them fishes his hand into the bag and pulls out the box set of DVDs of Entourage, which were pirated, of course, bought at a market in Vietnam. And I'm like, oh no, that's the issue. But then they just asked me where I got them from. So I was completely honest. I said it was a street market in Ho Chi Minh. And they said, look, we're trying to sort of crack down on the guys that are doing this stuff. So I was like, cool, happy to help in any way I can. They let me go with my bag and they let me keep the DVDs. I guess the moral of this story is just how lucky I was. Poor choices lead to poor consequences. And it was just lucky that I got out of both Vietnam and Thailand at that time safely. Even though I'd gone there to get clarity, it didn't happen. But yeah, just count my lucky stars. There you go, guys. I hope that was semi-entertaining. Let me know if you have any wild or crazy experiences from trips to Asia. Like I say, I'd like to go there again in a better mindset. Even take my son there and let him see the culture over there would be awesome. Thank you, guys. I hope this wild story might have earned a like or a subscription. I don't take those things lightly. Till next time.